Joe, obviously Alex will be done after the game on the 12th, but do you have any intention of playing him from now until then?
I'm going to talk to him as we move forward here. Probably sit down and talk to him Tuesday when we get to Boston, maybe today after the game, to see where he's at mentally and what he kind of wants in the end here. So I'll sit down and talk to him.
Brian.
Joe, obviously you will play him on Friday. Is there any thought maybe playing him in the field, or is he a DH only? If he wants
I kind of thought of that. Is it something that you possibly do? I think that he has earned the right to have the conversation with me and what he wants to do here. So I'll sit and talk to him.
Wally.
Joe, considering the fact that the team's in a transition / rebuilding phase, for what reason wouldn't you play him, except for the fact if he says, I don't want to play? Why wouldn't you play him?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why I said I want to sit and talk to him. Obviously, too, and I know we're in a transition, and I get that. We're 6 games back from the wild card. Stranger things have been done. But as again, I said, he's earned the right, for us to sit down and have a conversation, and we will talk about it.
Barry.
Joe, what kind of week has this been emotionally for you? I mean, a lot of players, you invested a lot of energy in and a lot of, heart and love over the course of the years are gone.
It's been a tough week, Barry. It's been a tough month for a lot of different reasons. We can talk about the trade deadline. We can talk about Tex and what he's meant to this organization. And as I said yesterday, Tex is the type of player that every manager wants to manage because he's not only an offensive juggernaut, he's a defensive specialist. To lose guys like this, it's hard. Alex has meant a ton to me. This has been a tough month. Obviously it's a hot topic every day, and it's not an easy topic to talk about. So it's taken its toll.
Who else in the back all the way? Richard.
Richard Roth, CNN. Joe, Fenway Park, I know it's a little early. That was where Jeter had his last at-bat. It's great drama. It's Alex. We know what reaction he's gotten there in the past, but now he is going to be leaving the game. Ortiz has said he wants a standing ovation here. What reaction do you believe he will get in Boston should he play there and you decide to bat him? And what will he get, and what do you think he deserves there?
I'm not sure what he'll get. I think he's meant a lot to this game. I think that he has provided excitement around the country, around the world for years after year with the numbers that he has put up. So I hope he is received well. This is a guy that we're not going to see every day come along in the game. You're just not. This has been a special player for a long time. So I hope he is received well because I think he has earned it.
Back right, standing up, Bill.
Joe, how hard has it been for you to watch Alex obviously decline from his peak?
It's been hard because I don't think any player ever wants to get to this point. Alex talked about it. None of us ever want to take the uniform off. And it was easy to pencil his name in that lineup every day, hitting third and playing third base and never have to worry about where I was going to put him. Never worry about the effort that I was going to get. Never worry about the production I was going to get. I mean, my job was easy when it came to Alex. Now, as times have changed, and he had to earn his at-bats when he came back last year, he did a tremendous job earning those at-bats, and it was rewarding for me to be able to put him back in that 3 slot and let him perform. So this, like I said, this has been difficult because this is a guy that you'd love to say you had forever, that never goes away. I mean, any manager would love to write Alex's name in the lineup, hitting third and putting him at third base, or when he was younger at shortstop, and never have to worry. And to get 155 to 158 games, maybe 160, and know that you were going to get 140, 150 RBIs. I mean, that's a dream for a manager.
All the way in the back.
Joe, you've spent a handful of spring trainings with Alex Rodriguez. What have you seen from him in those spring trainings that gives you confidence in his new role to deal with some of the younger players in the Florida State League and the next spring training?
Oh, I mean, this goes back from the first day I met him. You know, I used to say some of my most enjoyable times at the ballpark was, you know, and I'm a substantial distance from where we eat, and I'm in my office, and I can hear the young kids laughing with Al, enjoying his company. Now, some of this is fun, but he's also teaching the game the whole time. I remember him taking Robbie Cano out in spring training, and this was before Robbie really started to put up big numbers. And we talked to Al about how can you help him with his approach with runners in scoring position. And Al took him out to the backfield, and all of a sudden Robbie became a 30 and 100 guy. And it was, you could write it in. And it was because of Alex talked to him about his approach. He has been a teacher forever, whether it's been in spring training, whether it's been during the middle of the season, just things that he sees. He has a love for this game as much as any person I've ever met. So I think teaching becomes natural because, A, he loved the game so much and he loved to talk about it, but B, he also wanted to win. And he knew to get the best out of his teammates, he had to lend some of the knowledge that he had.
Nick and Duke.
You said Friday before Mark retired, you had a conversation with him to check if he was sure. What kind of conversation did you have with Alex? Was it the same sort of sentiment?
We weren't really privy to this information. You know, this is the best job the New York Yankees have ever done of keeping something in-house. And it was in a small house. I mean, and this is a big house. So we weren't really privy to the information. So I didn't really get to have a conversation with him. You know, and as Cash said, he has the right to change his mind. I mean, he has the right to change his mind if he gets home and says, you know what, I want to keep going. I'm not sure what's going to happen. This is hard for any athlete, you know. I was saying yesterday, you know, after Tex, you know, said this was going to be it. You know, I think it was Kirk Gibson who said players die two lives. One when you take a uniform off, and one when you die your natural life. And it's true. I know I cried like a baby my last day.
Duke.
Joe, you've been through some really good times with Alex and tough times. What will you personally remember most about him?
How much he loves this game and how much he gave back to it. You know, and I'm not going to forget what he did for us in 2009, believe me. But, you know, like I said, one of my favorite memories of Alex is hearing the kids laugh with him. You know, the young players and the people around the table with him. And it's not just a little laugh. I mean, these are belly laughs, and I'm hearing it a block away. And how he prepared. I mean, Alex worked as hard as any player I've ever met. You know, sometimes you think superstars, it just comes easy for them. Yeah, Alex made it look easy, but my gosh, did this guy work, and he worked, and he worked. And sometimes maybe he overworked. Sometimes maybe the 300 swings he took in the cage were too many that day. But he truly loved this game, and that love will never leave.
Joel.
Joe, you've mentioned these great attributes and easy to manage, hitting third, playing third, working with it. He does have a complicated history, though, here with PEDs and injury and controversy. Is it complicated for you, or is it only the positive for you?
No, it's the positive for me. You know, I think Cash, you know, said we all have our issues. We've all made mistakes. Some are on a grander scale. Some are more covered than others. When you're a superstar athlete, everything you do is going to be covered. But from managing him, it wasn't complicated because my job as a manager is to get the most out of players. And Alex had what I want everybody to have in life. he had a passion for something, and that passion was for baseball. Now, some of it might be for writing, some of it might be for broadcasting, some of it might be a doctor or a teacher, but Alex had a love for what he did. So to me, that made it easy to manage because he worked and he worked and he worked and always tried to get the best out of himself and others. So it wasn't complicated for me. He was easy.
Take a few more all the way in the back. If you could just wait for the mic, please.
Joe, you mentioned that you just sort of found this out, or this was a decision made by others. Cashman said the same thing. When did the rest of the players find out, and what is your role? What do you imagine your role will be in sort of talking about it with them, if any of them have sort of questions or feelings of how to manage, obviously, the biggest name in the room?
Yeah, well, even coming into today, I don't think, there was a press release last night about the press conference. The players still didn't know what was going on. I don't know if he confided in anyone. I don't necessarily think so. So I think really this is the first of them knowing. I'm sure they're all a little taken aback by it a little bit, just because they also understand the passion Alex has for this game. I'm sure they all understand and will be supportive of whatever he does, but I'm sure there's some players in that room who are a little shocked.
Is there anyone else? Sorry, right here.
Joe, you say you're going to have a conversation with Alec, independent of what he said, you're going to go. What if he say he feel healthy enough to play every day until last day Friday? Do you will play him?
Yeah, I mean that's a conversation I have to have. If he wants to play in every game, I'll find a way. Like I said, I need to talk to him. We need to sort through some of these emotions. See about today, to see what we do today. But we need to talk.
Last one, Barry.
Joe, would you speak about spring training, not this year, last year, when Alex came back from the suspension, and basically you told him, put down the glove, just work on getting back in shape and getting back into hitting shape. And basically the breath you gave him to be able to come back and have that season last year.
Well, when he came to spring training, obviously we wanted the ability that in a pinch he could do something, but I said, we need you to hit. That's really what we need you to do. That's what's going to earn you at bats. So I said, just focus on the hitting. We'll worry about the other things a little bit later if we have to worry about them. We talked about first base when Tex went down and he never became comfortable. But the bottom line, for him to be productive for this team, he was going to have to hit. And I think it put his mind at ease. I think it allowed him to play more often, recovering from standing out at third base or first base, 3 hours a night. I think it's harder to recover. So I think it helped him.